The first neighborhood we visited was Sellwood, where we surveyed along Milwaukee Avenue, a commercial area that had a large proportion of both car traffic and people traffic, but the sidewalks were also wider, all of which corresponded to the higher density commercial setting. However, we conducted our survey of this neighborhood on a Thursday, late in the afternoon, which may have contributed to higher pedestrian and vehicular traffic. Two interviews were conducted in which the primary concerns were stated to be tripping hazards as well as a simple lack of sidewalks, although these concerns may have not been extremely relevant for this survey area, as 50% of our survey locations in Sellwood were rated to be less than 25% degraded. The next area we surveyed was the Woodlawn neighborhood. This is a largely residential area in North Portland where we witnessed severe degradation of some of the sidewalk infrastructure, as well as a lot of trash in places. Next, we went out to Parkrose. We ended up near Parkrose High School, which was on the far reaches of northeast Portland. Therefore, we saw a very different primary usage for these sidewalks. We interviewed John, who emphasized safe access for students as an important priority. The neighborhood was generally quiet, as school was already in session, so there was not significant pedestrian traffic at the time of our survey. However, as in this picture, there was water pooled at the base of the sidewalk where it intersects the street, a safety hazard which was echoed in interviews elsewhere in Portland. After Parkrose, we went to the Roseway neighborhood. We first followed along Fremont Avenue between 63rd and 57th Streets, a predominantly commercial but mixed residential area that was host to an abandoned building and several vacant parking lots, which also had medium vehicular traffic, giving an interesting adjacent surroundings dynamic. This area was surveyed around the lunch hour, and we did interview Miles, who was on his way to work. He expressed that he doesn't normally observe any serious safety concerns on Portland's sidewalks. However, on Beach Street, just to the north, we observed a lack of sidewalks entirely, as shown in the picture above. Residential areas were negatively correlated to auto traffic, thus decreasing the incentive for safe pedestrian walkways to be provided. We also conducted a survey in downtown. As one might expect, we did see a lot of pedestrians, as well as a significant amount of wide sidewalks, but they were all in the midst of highly commercial areas. Nevertheless, we saw significant obstructions to the sidewalks, such as this shown in the photo here. After downtown, we traveled out to the Linton neighborhood. Linton is in the far northwest part of Portland. This is a heavy industrial area, which made us more able to recognize certain correlations between the presence of sidewalks, adjacent surroundings, people, and car traffic. Although it was an outlier, the only large trash object, which was an abandoned truck, was found here, further drawing the line between the tidier residential and commercial neighborhoods elsewhere in Portland. The more rundown feel of the area, along with sprawling industrial complexes, did not provide a pedestrian-friendly atmosphere. Our data from this survey helped to more definitively answer our focus question on the extent to which adjacent surroundings influence pedestrian mobility. We also traveled to the Kenton neighborhood, where we saw an example of one of the lips in the sidewalks that several other interviewees had spoken to. These were rated to be a significant hazard amongst our interviews, and here was one location that we actually witnessed such a hazard. Our final location for surveying was West Portland Park in Southwest Portland. We found this area unexpectedly easy to survey, as most all of the survey spots here did in fact have sidewalks, although Southwest Portland in general is notorious for unpaved streets and few pedestrian amenities. Nevertheless, in interviews here, one person stated that depending on the road, a lack of sidewalks can be okay, but another individual said that the main purpose of sidewalks is to keep people safe and separated from car traffic. Our surveys here encompassed a somewhat major thoroughfare, which was adequately sidewalked, but we also received a couple divergent answers from other survey responses and from Coalition for Livable Future's main issues.